Hello, darlings. So we are here in the second episode of Tea Time with Nettie, and I'm here with Garrett from Apogee Fitness. What is Apogee Fitness? Well, this is a wonderful gym that I found on Instagram, so thanks Instagram for your algorithm. But it's really awesome, a little dramatic, but it kind of changed my life because it's given me a lot of motivation to work out. I've come here for 5 a.m. classes. That's like unheard of for me because I'm not a morning person at all. So anyway, this is Garrett again, and he is part owner of this gym. They do have another location in Mokina.
As well as New Lenox.
New Lenox
Yep.
as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is our third location and our first standalone. So yeah, Mokina and New Lenox were actually built inside the gyms. So.
Oh, okay. All right, that's awesome. So guys, ladies, gentlemen, and I just learned that kids can come too.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
long as they're 10 and above, give us more info on that.
Yeah, so pretty much Apogee is built so anyone could do it of all ages and all experiences. So people that are first time coming into the gym that they're wanting to do something different and learn about fitness. And then also people that have just been doing it all their lives. Like we even had a couple D1 athletes as well. And then just in between where they were out for a little bit because of COVID, and then they're coming back and they're finding their passions again. And then it's all ages. We try and fit it where it pretty much just like a nice baseline, and then we could just change it around for the individual. So yeah, we could have kids as young as 10. We've had a 10-year-old go for 2 years, and now he's learning how to work out by himself because of us, and just found his passion through it. And then we also have people into their 70s that are coming in just to stay active, just stay strong, and protect themselves, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like I said, this place has been kind of life-changing for me. I really enjoy the type of classes that you guys have. So it's just give you a little bit on that. It's self-paced as far as like they have a setup for you, what you're going to do that day. But if there's anything that you need adjustments on, the trainer's here. The trainer will help you do an adjustment or modification in fitness terms, right?
Yeah.
They'll help you through that, and then they'll also push you to go to the next level.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, we try and do different things to really advance you. So yeah, we did like the strength test where we were doing as many, like it came out to like 550 reps of 10 different things. And then we'll test you again to see how you improved with your strength, which is either going up with the dumbbell weight and the barbell weight, or just in reps where you're increasing the endurance. And then even with cardio, seeing how far or how fast you could get to that 1,000 meters. And then we even have checkups that are able to look into your muscle mass, your body fat, hydration, even your bone health and visceral fat level. So we're pretty much trying to provide you with all the options to get to where you want to be and hit the goals, and give you provide you with the trainers to get you there as well. So.
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was another thing that made me want to come and check it out, was knowing that it's not just I'm gonna go in there and work out and not really know, like, number one, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Number two, is it working for me, right?
Yeah.
So in your description on your website, it said how you guys go through all those tests, and I have taken, you said it's the visceral test?
Visceral fat.
Visceral
test,
fat.
yeah.
So I've taken that, and I know that we've been working on that kind of stuff. So that was something that really appealed to me, because I didn't want to just go and work out, because then I always get like, is this working? What am I even doing? Am I doing it right? So that's really great that you guys offer all of that.
And the nice thing with our scale and our body checks is that it really goes into that well depth of the muscle mass, hydration, bone health, visceral fat, all those things. Because if you just step on a scale, you only get that one number, where these really show you like how your body is fully changing. And it's just showing the full health effects of it all, because the biggest important is bone health. You want strong bones, you want to have good hydration, you want to have that muscle, you want to lay off the fat on the inside too, not just the body fat. So this provides you with all the details on how's it going with your nutrition, the workouts, even just the recovery too. So
yeah, and that's something that I really love, because I've always struggled with the disappointment of not seeing
Yeah.
the scale go down or seeing the scale go up, and I'm like, I've been working so
Yeah.
hard. Why
Oh,
is
yeah.
it going up? And it just happened to me last month. Remember that I'm like, it went up like 1.8 pounds, and you're like, but hold on, the muscle mass was this much, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So it made me feel
Yeah.
better and made me motivated to continue. So that's important, I think.
And then I'll even get people that are confused because almost in the same effect, their weight is going up, but like their clothes are
Yes.
feeling a little bit looser. Like either they had to get new pants or they had to like get a new belt because of it. They're like, but I don't understand. Well, that's where that scale comes into play because yeah, now we could find out that you're losing body fat, but they're seeing yeah, like the clothes changes that they're having to buy new stuff just to fit them, and that's because yeah, you're losing body fat, but you're either gaining some muscle onto it, and muscle is just going to be a little bit more denser, so it's going to weigh more than the body fat. So it's like your body is changing extremely, but that one number that you can only get with a basic scale isn't changing, and that it could cause a lot of frustrations and confusion, and that's what kind of like leads a lot of people down the path of like, well, of just stopping everything entirely. So
That's been me forever because
Yeah.
it's discouraging, you
Mhm.
know. But you see that in your clothes, but you still want to see that number, and just being
Yeah.
able to understand. Well, it's not just that number, and it has to click in your mind, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's not just this number. I need to
Exactly.
work, on that. But so what made you get into the fitness profession?
So it's actually like 2 points happened in my life. I was going through a paramedic academy I went through EMT through Moraine Valley, and then I wanted to progress it, so I was going in through the paramedic academy, and I realized that it's just not for me. That's not the lifestyle. It's like I just couldn't do it. There's a lot of stresses on that job physically and emotionally and just mentally. Like it's just rough. And I knew that it just wasn't for me, but I still wanted to be in a field where I could help people. And I really didn't know what to do, and I moved out to Colorado, and I found my passion for fitness out there because it's just like that's what everyone does. It's just a huge community. It's hard not to when you could have mountains to go hike.
Yeah.
And
So you were in Colorado.
Yeah, so I was in Colorado, and it's just a huge fitness state out there because it's like, yeah, you could go hike mountains, and there's a lot of like professional athlete gyms out there, and they train out there because of the altitude. It's rough altitude, and I lived in Colorado Springs where they actually had the U.S. Olympic training grounds there.
Oh, okay.
So I got to see all these people train, and it's just like seeing all these people like train for like soccer, weightlifting, and gymnastics there was just insane, and it just motivated me. I'm like, I want to do something like that, and as I just started Googling, and then I found the career of like exercise science field that could go into training with athletes, going into physical therapy, things like that. So I'm like, I could really help people before they like even go into an ambulance then. So I could prevent that trip, I could prevent hospital visits and injuries. So I'm like, that's what I want to go. So I got my degree in exercise science with nutrition support, so I could help people through physical therapy if I wanted to, or do preventive physical therapy just through proper workouts with good form and mechanics, healthy eating, healthy lifestyle. So then it prevented them of ever having to go into a rehab or get surgery or anything like that. So that's pretty much how I found this field and stuck with it for like 6 years now. So maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. I lost track.
That's awesome, and that's so great that you thought of that different way to help people and not just be at the end of that spectrum where someone's already hurt, someone's already kind of beyond that exercise at some point, right? So it's awesome that you thought about that and that you cared to figure that out for people. So as far as the nutrition part of it, are there like a couple of tips that you could get our viewers on nutrition, just like 3 or something, or maybe vitamins that you recommend?
As far as nutrition goes, the internet is definitely like a double-edged sword with it, because there's just so much information that it could be so useful, but then at the same time there's so many people using that to their advantage, like influencers and everything, that are pushing so much stuff. Like they're like saying like, oh, you can only lose weight through like doing keto or buying this product and doing this wrap and all like this, like this specific tea and all this stuff. I would say the best thing nutrition wise is just keeping it simple. Like the biggest thing is it's calories in versus calories out. It's just the basic science of that. So all those diets can work. It's just the ones that fit your lifestyle and that you enjoy the most. So like if you're a busy lifestyle, a lot of my one-on-one clients like that were first responders or even nurses, they're hectic lifestyles. They can't just sit down and eat a meal at a certain time. They have no idea when they could eat. That's when intermittent fasting could come into play, because they know usually at this time I could eat, so then they could eat all their meals through that time. Or yeah, people that have they just enjoy salads. So Mediterranean diet is a lot more salads with a little bit of protein mixed in. So like if you love your Caesar salads and your chicken salads, Southwest salads, bam. And then yeah, some people just enjoy doing keto. That's their thing. So finding something that fits your lifestyle that you could enjoy and that you could stick with, because it comes down to consistency is key. This is something that you want to stick with the rest of your life.
Right.
So if you're going too hard on something and it's unsustainable, then you're going to only see quick results but not long results.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up about being sustainable, because yes, all the diets, they're doable for maybe that little bit of time.
Yeah.
But when you want to make a lifestyle change, which is what it needs to be, right? If you want to get to a certain point, it needs to be something that you're going to be able to do on a daily basis.
Exactly. And I've seen people that have been doing keto for 5-6+ years. It's possible, but it's something that it fits their lifestyle. That's just how they are. Yeah. Where it's just the same thing of going like vegan kind of thing like that. It's like you found out that just like either if it's just for just the purpose of saving and helping animals, or if it's just more of you just don't like the texture of meat. Whatever the reason is, you could go vegan and vegetarian. And it's the same thing. It's some people it could be a very extreme, but to others that's just their lifestyle. And so that's where you could, the internet can be extremely helpful. Just looking up diets and saying, hey, this one seems really interesting, and I could definitely see myself eating that, or those are foods I'm already eating that I enjoy. But yeah, consistency is key, and that just also goes for fitness as well. Right. Finding something that you enjoy, and right now we're like in a huge like renaissance for fitness. There's just so much that you could do: Zumba, jazzercise, Olympic weightlifting, CrossFit, bodybuilding, HIIT classes. There's just so much, and it's very easy to find, and even at home stuff now. Like you have Peloton, you have Tonal, Nordic has their own mirror type thing. So finding something that could fit into your day that you enjoy doing, so then it's not just a workout, it's just more, it turns into a hobby. Because it's like, I'm gonna go out, I'll work out for 45 minutes, whether it's at Apogee or I found something online that I could do at home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, is that finding something that you're going to be motivated to do, whether, like you said, Zumba, I love dancing, but I felt like it wasn't enough. Like I'm not doing enough with just dancing, but it really is a workout. But anything to get you moving. And I think that that's what helped me kind of change my mindset. It's just, it's not all about the scale or, body or whatever. It's about overall health. And I think that's what clicked in my mind finally, was that overall health, you need to move, at least a little bit every day, right? Exactly. So it's important, and it's important to find that thing that's going to click in your mind, of what's going to help you and motivate you and get you to do it. Because there's been a lot of times I talked about it till I was blue in the face. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I would do it a few days and I'd be like, oh, this is so boring. But because I had a different mindset of why I was doing it, like now that it's clicked in my mind that it's just for overall health, and I'm doing it for the overall health for me and to be an example for my boys, because I don't want them to struggle their whole lives, you know. So an example for them, and just, you know, hey, mommy's motivated, she's going to the gym. And even my older son, he's like, you went at what time? I'm like, I know, right?
I woke up at 4 a.m. so I could go to 5 a.m. class.
Absolutely. So, you know, and he's the type of person that he like thinks about things and he's like, oh, and it starts to kind of, you know, give him an idea. And I love that I just found out that kids can come here because he had said, well, mommy, maybe one day I can go with you to the gym. And I didn't think that was an option, and I love that you do have that option, because absolutely, I'm gonna bring him now.
Because really there's no bad age to start working out. Like, it's like you see kids playing on the playground all the time, that they're just working out then. So why can't they come in and use a TRX like behind us, or push a sled, or just start using some dumbbell weights? Like 2 weekends ago, I went to an extreme workout event at Navy Pier, and there was, I think he was 13 years old, competing with his dad there.
Oh, nice.
And he was pushing sleds with extreme weight on it, but he was doing it with good form, and his dad would take over when needed. He was doing the skier like we do here, the rower, running and everything, and he enjoyed it, and he was able to do it because he had his dad was helping him. Then he also had good trainers to show him that form. As long as that form is good, they'll be fine. Because even look at some of the Olympians, like they're like 14, 15 years old, especially like the gymnasts, like the female gymnasts, they're young. Yeah. So they could do that, and they're doing weightlifting, definitely. So.
Right. And I don't know why I hadn't thought about it. That's a good point. There's so many like young athletes that they started somewhere, right? Oh, yeah. So that's great that you guys have that option. On that note, do you have anything that you recommend for people to like get moving? Like I said, it always has to click in someone's mind. Whatever bit of information they hear that is gonna finally click in their mind. But is there something that you recommend?
The biggest thing that I always tell my clients is to set a date. And the best way to do that by setting a date is either a big date of significant importance, like a wedding or an anniversary, or literally sign up for something. Sign up for a Tough Mudder, sign up for a 5K, because then once you sign up and you put money down, you now have an end goal in mind. And Thomas Edison used to do that trick, and that's what I started doing, where he would literally tell newspapers or people, hey, I'm gonna have an invention coming out in 3 months. And he has no idea what he's doing. So in 3 months, he had to figure out what I'm gonna come up and invent with and figure it out. And he would grind into it, and he would come out with an invention. And I'm like, that is the best thinking, because you set a date, and now you're committed to it, and you're just committing to yourself then. So if you don't show up for it, then you just gave up on yourself, and that's probably the worst feeling to ever do, especially if you do have a crowd watching, whether it's kids, friends, or family. Like, they're just like, oh, well, what happened to that 5K you were gonna run?
Yeah, right. And then you're like,
yeah, it's like, oh, I
about that.
Yeah, and then also it's like, I just spent like $30 on that. And like, it's $30, but it's something that you spend money on that you didn't do. So
yeah, and like, I've spent money on gyms and like diet stuff, and at one point many moons ago I had a trainer, and that's expensive. Yeah. So it can be. But I think that as they say in business too, like finding your why too, right? Why are you doing this, and why does it matter so much? Yeah. And then picking a date, I think is really good that you brought that up, because you could tell people like, yeah, I'm gonna run a 5K, but if there's no date attached to it, it's just gonna be like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, a date.
Because I honestly did that for years. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do a Spartan race. I'll do a Spartan race, and then I was like, why haven't I done this in the 2 years that I've said I've been doing it? So I just signed up for one, and then it got closer and closer. I'm like, oh God, I need to start training for this. And then I did, and that's when I started going like 3-4 times a year, and I loved it. And so it's also one of those things that if you also ever been curious about something, then just sign up for it, because then you set a date, you have a goal, you're gonna start training for it. And then you're gonna finally try that new thing out, and you could end up loving it, or you could be like, this was fun, but it's not for me.
And
Yeah.
what's the harm in that? You set a goal, you accomplish that goal, you try something new, and now you're just going to do something different and try something new again and find that passion that you could get into. And that's how I keep finding new passions in fitness and learning new things in fitness is just by doing that thing, setting a goal and trying something new.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome.
And then just like you're saying too, finding that why. The biggest why is kids, like how you are wanting to set example, or you want to be healthy to live long enough to see them grow up.
Yeah.
And then, or if you had a near-death experience, or like you go to the doctor and you find out like my blood pressure is not where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, yeah, you don't want to be on blood pressure medication. That's kind of your why and your drive and push.
Yeah, and sometimes people hit that rock bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're like, I'm at the bottom of the barrel right now. What do I do? So yeah, finding that what's gonna help you get up there and not be at that rock bottom.
Yeah.
Anything else that you'd like to share?
I would definitely the biggest thing is just keeping things simple. Always just keep things simple. I feel like people try to just really overcomplicate things where, like you said, like you just have to get moving. There's plenty of success stories of people that just get up and start walking. My favorite success story is a guy would walk to Walmart and back every day to get his food for every meal.
Oh.
And it would be about a mile walk round trip. So he was walking about 2-3 miles a day just doing that. And because of the activity and then just cooking a little bit fresher and more whole and not having, since he's walking, he can't just buy a bunch of groceries. He could only buy a little bit. So yeah, just getting up, walking, and he kept his nutrition simple. He got his protein, he got his veggies, he got his fruit, and he kept it like that.
Yeah.
So just keeping things simple can really help. Don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it, and yeah, it'll go a long way.
You're talking to one of the biggest overthinkers, and that has helped me too to think like one meal at a time,
Mm-hmm.
one day at a time.
Yeah.
Because I do go like, okay, I'm gonna try keto, and then I go, and it's not sustainable for me because I want other things, right? And maybe if I stuck with it long enough, it would become just the habit. But I overthink it because then I'm like, oh, I can only eat this, and this, and then I get discouraged, and then I get frustrated. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. It's like one meal at a time, make better choices for that one meal, and then just do it again for the next meal, and then just do it again for the next day,
and it just keeps rolling.
Yeah.
And my old coach used to say is, you're always going to have a dirt pile, and that's going to be your goal. Your goal is to move that dirt pile into the other area where you need it to be. Some days you're going to have a bobcat to move it. Other days you're just going to have a teaspoon. But you're still going to be moving that dirt no matter what. So just keep doing it little by little. It'll add up, and you'll get it there.
Yeah.
So one meal at a time, one workout at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah. Are there any before we wrap up, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I appreciate you. Are there any vitamins that you think are essential when you're working out consistently, like let's say 3 to 5 days a week?
The one vitamin that I've really been telling people about is cod liver oil, mainly because it has 3 vitamins in one pill. You're going to have your fish oils in it because it's cod, but you're also going to have vitamin D and vitamin A in it. Which vitamin D you really need because you can only get from the sunlight pretty much.
So deficient all the time.
So it's like you're going to get that, and then your vitamin A, and that's just going to help with immune support and everything. And so you're going to have your omega fatty acids from the fish oil, you're going to get your vitamin D, and you're going to get your vitamin A, and you could literally just take one pill every meal and you're going to get the amount that you need. And it's like if you want to go even a step further, there is a vitamin pack where it comes in with like a bunch of little vitamins that you could take, and it's called WOD pack, WOD, like workout of the day.
Oh, okay.
And you could get like a box of it with like 30 of those packs for like $35. So it really cost efficient considering how many vitamins are in it, but it provides you with everything. It can provide you with your vitamin D, vitamin C, fish oil, as well as what's called a rich berry pill, and it has like all the vitamins that you get from like a full day serving of like fruits.
Oh. Okay.
So those are pretty good as well. But yeah, cod liver oil or the wad pack itself. Those are always great.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being here. Thank you for your time. You guys heard it. WOD, workout of the day, vitamin packs, if you're interested in that. And obviously you want to check with your doctor if that doesn't, you know, mess with any medications you're taking, or if that's okay for you overall. But just get moving, my friends. It's important, and I know I found that it has helped me a lot. And like I said, just being an example for others, and for those of you who have children, being an example for them, setting that little seed in their mind that being active is important, and helping them to grow into better humans, right? All right, well, thank you so much, my darlings. Until the next episode, see you later.
See ya.